trust Richthofen. I do not trust Richthofen. Richthofen tried to kill my beloved Maxis. Richthofen tried to kill Samantha. Do not trust him. He is an evil that must be extinguished. Maxis told me he had a plan. He said Broken Arrow showed him how to open up new worlds. It has been so long. I miss it.
There may be a character from the Aether storyline so powerful and so mysterious that they could exist in the Dark Aether still to this very day. And with Black Ops 7 Zombies taking us back into the heart of the Dark Aether and supposedly once again letting us play as the original characters, there's never been a better time for this puzzling character to make a return. The character I'm talking about is Ludvig Maxis, but not just any Ludvig Maxis, a unique variant of him that was granted immense power and has existed in the shadows of the Call of Duty Zombies storyline. He's been hidden just under our noses, just outside of our view for the entirety of his existence. Recently, a series I did on the fractures in Black Ops 3 and just how they warp history each time they are created ended up focusing in large part on the Maxis who exist in these fractured timelines. When studying for it, we learned that this Maxis actually benefited from most of these changes in history, with his story ultimately ending quite positively for him. However, each part of his story is contained within small sections of each fracture video, so I thought it was worth doing a dedicated video where we compile all of the information at once. Then I want to use that information to carry forward into new discussion. Specifically, how possible is it that this Maxis could appear on camera for the very first time in Black Ops 7? All of that and more will be unveiled in this video, so stay tuned until the very end. To understand the enigmatic figure of Zero-Base Maxis, we first need to explore the Black Ops 3 fractures and how they reshape Ludvig Maxis' role in the Aether storyline. Fractures are specific timelines created when Primus, the evolved versions of Richtofen, Dempsey, Takeo, and Nikolai, kill their Ultimus or 1.0 counterparts at precise moments in space and time. These arcs do more than just eliminate the characters in one universe. They collect their souls in the summoning key and shatter history, rewriting both the past, present, and future. Each fracture we're aware of, Deceptio, Proditione, and Agonia, builds on the previous one, and for Maxis, each fracture amplifies his influence, resources, and knowledge, setting the stage for his transformation into the cosmic architect of Zero Base. It's important for context to know, though, before Primus appear at the Giant, the timeline is the Ultimus Universe's timeline, the original. But once they appear, both the future and the past will change, so events will drastically warp. The Deceptio fracture begins on October 13th, 1945 at the Giant, when Primus Richtofen kills Ultimus Richtofen 1.0, moments after he teleports Ludvig Maxis and Samantha. In the original timeline, Richtofen's betrayal leads to Maxis' death and Samantha's entrapment in the MPD, as heard in the radios where Richtofen locks them in a teleporter with Fluffy, eventually leading him to take control over computer mainframes. But in Deceptio, Primus intervenes, stopping Richtofen from completing his plan. When Primus Richtofen shoots his 1.0 self, the timeline fractures, and history shifts dramatically, as shown on the alternative Nacht der Untoten loading screen. Lee's Black Ops 3 developer documents reveal that this fracture floods the universe with more Element 115, far exceeding the amounts in the original timeline. Group 935, under Maxis' leadership, gains access to these massive 115 deposits, akin to those in Dimension 63's Great War. This influx leads to technological leaps. Giant robots appear at Der Riese, and disasters at other 935 sites like Nacht der Untoten, Verrückt, and Shinonuma are erased, again as shown in the alternative Kino der Toten comic loading screen. Without Richtofen's rebellion, Ludvig Maxis consolidates control over Group 935, transforming it into a powerhouse that arms Germany with advanced 115-powered weaponry, making them a dominant force in World War II. And so, the war does not end when it was supposed to. This was also hinted at in an old Blundell Mr. Rothwaffles interview that I'll play for you now.
Does the Maxis of the Der Eisendrache universe know about the moon base in Der Eisendrache?
Yes.
By November 5th, 1945, at the Eisendrache, Maxis is running the moon base and overseeing the evacuation of the Moon Pyramid Device, or MPD for short. Roles originally tied to Richthofen's secret subgroup. Developer documents, specifically the DLC1 ZM Weekly Concept Projection Spreadsheet, confirm that the slideshow in Maxis' bedroom at the Eisendrache is indeed his and not Richthofen's, showing images of the MPD and test subjects. This is a critical shift. In the original timeline, Maxis was unaware of the moon base, as Richthofen's rebellious faction hid it from him. But in Deceptio, Maxis discovers the MPD himself, using rockets from Eagle's Nest to transport materials to the moon. A safer method for the fabric of the universe than teleporters, which often failed, as heard in Classified's Moon Man radio.
Log entry 97, August 3rd, 1963. The matter transference device has been realigned, again, in order to accommodate additional temporal variables. This is test number 11, human subject 5, one Private Hastings. If the transference specs are correct, Private Hastings will arrive at Griffin Station on August 3rd, 1963. If he arrives at this date, a communication link will be successfully established, and we will have confirmed that the teleporter's temporal anomalies have been compensated for. Are you ready, Private Hastings?
Yes, sir.
I can't understand a word of what he's saying in that ridiculous spacesuit. A simple thumbs up will suffice, Private Hastings. Good. Initiate the transference matrix. Moment of truth. Dr. Richards, did it work? Do we have a stable connection?
No, sir. Nothing. We've lost him.
That's the 5th man we've lost. This base is rapidly running out of privates. Oh, I suppose they're all just dancing around on the moon somewhere in the far future, having a grand old time.
Maxis also takes over Group 935's Human Experimentation Division. In the original timeline, Richthofen used test subjects like Dempsey, but in Deceptio, Maxis selects Dempsey 1.0 for MPD experiments, sparing Samantha from being placed in the device, therefore not being in control of the zombies, which is why throughout Black Ops 3 they have orange eyes as opposed to Samantha's yellow. And I've done a video recently diving deep into the misconceptions of the eye colours, a part 2 to my video I made over a year ago now. Truly the best explanation we have to date. It's a lot more complicated than meets the eye, if you are confused about this. The timeline notes that Groff and others at Griffin Station believe the MPD is causing visions of Samantha, but she's likely hiding on the moon base, having been teleported there but never entering the MPD due to the fracture's changes. Maxis' control over the moon base, 935's resources, and the war effort positions him as a far more powerful figure than in the original timeline, setting the foundation for his further ascent. The Proditione fracture, meaning treason in English, begins after Primus Dempsey kills Ultimus Dempsey 1.0 at the Eisendrache, shattering time again. Set in October 1945 at Zetsubo-no-Shima, this fracture occurs before the Eisendrache chronologically, so the moon remains intact. Developer documents, including the pitch PowerPoint for Zetsubo-no-Shima, reveal that the map is based on Pompeii, the location we figured out from the coordinate on the Shadows of Evil scraps of paper. This is where 115 meteors cause magnetic fluctuations, crashing planes and drawing Division 9 and Group 935 to the island. Shinonuma's Rising Sun facility falls as resources shift to Pompeii, where larger 115 deposits are found. In Proditione, the absence of Richthofen and Dempsey dissolves 935's test subject division, leaving Takio 1.0 in Japan. Maxis, unburdened by Richthofen's interference and the test subject program, redirects his focus to broader research, and Group 935 takes more control in the goings-on of Division 9. The increased 115 presence, as noted in the documents, attracts the Keepers, who leave the Skull of Nansapwa to combat Apothegons. Maxis' study of a Keeper's skull shows shown in the De Eisendrach slideshow, suggests he is now aware of these cosmic entities, a knowledge absent in the original timeline's Maxis, who never mentioned Keepers or much about the Vril. Maxis' dominance grows as Group 935's collaboration with Division 9 on Pompeii strengthens his influence. Without the test subject division, he can allocate resources to other projects, potentially including early multiversal research and the Dragon Egg program. The Fracture's 115 surge and increased Keeper involvement indicate a universe increasingly unstable, giving Maxis access to knowledge and technologies far beyond his original scope of power. His leadership of a unified 935, now a global military juggernaut, further solidifies his power, preparing him for the Agonia fracture. Finally, we are here. The Agonia fracture, meaning agony in English, begins after Takeo 1.0's death in Zetsubo-no-Shima, warping history into Gorod Krovi's timeline by November 1945. This fracture is marked by suffering, with World War II extending indefinitely due to 935's dragons and the Soviets' stolen technologies, like the Reagan Mark III schematic and Russian Gigant robot. Maxis, however, emerges as the exception, thriving amidst the chaos. It's worth noting that we could have seen hints to this as far back as the original Kino der Toten. Not too long ago, images were posted to an artist's online portfolio that, according to him, was set to originally appear in the Kino der Toten theatre screen. What is so interesting to us about these images is that some of them depict Ludvig Maxis, as we can see here. A look at Maxis that we had never seen before and only first saw a depiction of him, officially, in the Origins intro cutscene. But this depiction is one we want to talk about today because it features something very cool. We can see what seems to be the legs of a mech robot of some kind behind him, something that seems very similar to the mech we see Nikolai use in Gorod Krovi, and of course is an asset shared with the campaign for the game, which is set far in the future, where this technology advances so much so. However, in the Agonia fracture, technology has advanced so much so that it doesn't need to excel so far in time to be able to make such leaps, which, mind you, would have been made with stolen Group 935 blueprints and plans. So there's a decent chance that what we are looking at is a Black Ops 1 era iteration of Nikolai's mech right here, that would then go on to be developed further in the Agonia fracture. Obviously, this was probably an early concept for the giant robots made at Der Riese that we wouldn't end up seeing in production there until the remake of it on literally the Giant in Black Ops 3, being the same robots we see on Origins, but it seems the early idea was a lot different than what they ended up becoming. However, they still kept this idea in mind and ended up using it come Black Ops 3's campaign and the Gorod Krovi map, considering it's literally the same mech reused for ease, I guess. In Agonia, Maxis works at the Kino der Toten facility, where he transforms Sophia, attacked by Subject 26, into a robotic strategic operations planning heuristic intelligence analyzer, or Sophia for short, by February 14th, 1943. By July 7th, the Sophia robot is transferred to Stalingrad to oversee 935's operations, which focus on Glock research into time displacement and moving across dimensions, as noted in the documents for the map, timeline, and leaked documents. The research aligns with Maxis' growing interest in multiversal travel, a stark contrast to his original timeline's focus on local teleporters and wonder weapons. Here you can see the document on screen, and the leaked files reveal that Stalingrad's 935 team, under Maxis' direction, studies teleporters for time and dimensional travel, with Sophia referencing Kronos, a password as a nod to their temporal research. Maxis' absence from Stalingrad during Primus' arrival suggests he's already pursuing these new worlds, as Sophia later mentions that he worked with Broken Arrow to find new worlds. The timeline's entry on September 2nd, 1943 confirms Maxis' team at Stalingrad is exploring interdimensional movement, positioning him as a pioneer in multiversal navigation without the help of Dr. Monty, the Summoning Key, or Agatha. Maxis' power peaks in Agonia, without Richthofen, Dempsey, or Takeo to challenge him or waste his time, and with 935's vast resources and 115 surplus, he commands a scientific empire. His creation of Sophia and focus on dimensional travel indicate a cosmic awareness far beyond his original timeline self. This Maxis is or has ascended beyond just a scientific and a rival to Richthofen. He's a multiversal strategist, laying the groundwork for Zero Base and beginning to take on Dr. Monty. The evidence strongly suggests that the Agonia Maxis is the enigmatic Zero-Base Maxis from the Aether comics. They are one and the same character. Zero-Base, located in the empty Earth, a dimension devoid of human life, is a fortified facility housing artifacts like the Chronorium, Origin Staffs, and Vril Device, among many others, protected by a hologram of Sophia, and Soul-Based security. The transit crew retrieves the Chronorium for Primus Richthofen, triggering cybernetic, cyborg zombie attacks. This links the Maxis of Zero-Base back to the Chronicles version of Kino de Toten, and an Easter egg potentially depicting the creation of a cyborg zombie. Sophia's presence is the smoking gun. She exists only in the Agonia fracture, created after Sophia's transformation in 1943. For Zero-Base to feature Sophia, its creator must be the Agonia Maxis, as no other Maxis would have her. The facility's artifacts, collected from various dimensions, suggest Maxis' multiversal travels, enabled by Agonia's De Glock research, which Sophia herself tapped into and gained the power to interdimensional travel come the end of the quest, which is why she ends up in Revelations, to aid us in purging the universe and restarting the cycle. Maxis' soul-based security, requiring a soul for access, is a deliberate counter to Dr. Monty and his soulless allies, like Primus and other Maxis variants, who lack souls by this point in the timeline. Maxis' cosmic awareness is evident in his actions. Zero-Base's purpose, hiding the Chronorium from Monty, implies he knows Monty's plan to perpetuate the cycle, trapping 115 affected individuals in an endless loop. This aligns with radios from Alpha Omega, where the normal Primus Maxis variant warns Richthofen that Monty's plan won't break the cycle, but instead perpetuate it. While that Maxis had limited time, only about a map's worth of extra time thanks to the events of Blood of the Dead, Agonia Maxis, with years of research and 935's resources, likely deduced Monty's true nature earlier, probably spiraling from the note on the first matter transference device prototype to M, who started me on this journey. With much more time to think about who M is and why he's doing what he does, he could have figured out Monty's true nature. His creation of Zero-Base as a multiversal vault suggests he's actively working to subvert Monty, collecting artifacts to try and disrupt the cycle. Maxis' adventures across the multiverse are implied by Zero-Base's artifacts, which span dimensions. The Chronorium, detailing all timelines, and the Vril device, tied to ancient Keeper technology, indicate he's navigated realities inaccessible to others. His absence from Zero-Base during the comics suggests he's elsewhere, possibly gathering more artifacts or researching Monty's weaknesses, exploring other dimensions. The Kino de Toten radio, with mumbling and tools behind a door, may depict Maxis crafting cybernetic zombies for Zero-Base's defenses, further tying him to Agonia's Kino de Toten facility. Yes, that's right, the Chronicles version of Kino de Toten may be in Agonia. I get so many questions, is Chronicles canon? I believe it is. These are different iterations of these maps where Element 115 is blue instead of orange, and the timelines have shifted. I'll play a little clip of the mumbling door right now, and Maxis clearly building some sort of robotic device. This could be Sophia and or said robotic zombies.
Anyone?
Fracture's cumulative effect empowers Maxis to survive the Aether story's climax. In Black Ops 4, the cycle is broken after Takio's death during Primus' trip to Alcatraz, allowing Agonia Maxis to exist. When everything is cast into the Dark Aether at the end of Tag to Toten, Maxis, as a multiversal traveler, likely escapes or survives his trip inside. His awareness of the cycle and Monty's deception, combined with his dimensional travel expertise and the sheer amount of powerful artifacts he must still have, all suggest he could navigate the Dark Aether. Aether, a chaotic realm of 115 and demonic influence. Black Ops 7's setting in the heart of the Dark Aether and the rumoured return of the original characters Richtofen, Dempsey, Takio and Nikolai themselves open the door for this Maxis' return. Nikolai's voice actor, Fred Tatasciore, is already the Mangler in Black Ops 6 and also voices the original Ludvig Maxis. This strengthens this possibility because all they'd have to do is ask a voice actor already there to do more lines and take on a role that they've not done in a while, adding to the fun factor for him. If Treyarch is revisiting the Aether cast, Maxis as a pivotal figure with tons of unresolved potential fits perfectly. His survival in the Dark Aether, possibly as a powerful entity wielding Zero Base's artifacts, could make him a central figure, ally or antagonist in a new story. The Fracture's impact on Maxis' power is undeniable, and the possibility for him to ascend or escape time itself makes him the perfect candidate to return. Deceptio gives him control of 935 and the Moonbase, Proditione frees him to explore cosmic entities like the Keepers, and Agonia grants him multiversal knowledge, and Zero Base Sophia confirms his role as a cosmic architect, challenging Monty's cycle. His survival into the Dark Aether, supported by his absence in the comics and expertise in dimensional travel, makes him plausible to return. With Black Ops 7 revisiting the Dark Aether and the original characters, Maxis' reappearance could tie together the Aether story's loose ends, revealing the full scope of his multiversal adventures. And there is one big thing that would be perfect for him returning as well. Samantha Maxis, as far as we're aware right now, is also trapped in the Dark Aether. Now, unless we find out she's died or something else has happened to her, what better way to bring this story full circle than reunite her with a different iteration of her father, similar to how her, as a child in the house, reached out to a version of her father from a different dimension, Dimension 63, to aid her. This could mirror that, but this time, could it be her father reaching out to her and be her saving grace as opposed to the other way around? Or could even the Sam AI have something to do with this? What do you think? Could Zero Base Maxis return in Black Ops 7, wielding the power he gained through the fractures? Let me know in the comments. There's so many ways that this can go, but I think that this is very interesting because with the original characters returning, I don't want it to just be a trivial thing. I want them to do good use with them coming back and make references to the old Aether story we knew and love. And there's a perfect opportunity here to tie everything together. But will it be done effectively? That's for another day. But Ludvig Maxis has the potential to return in a way that makes complete sense and also answer the long-standing mystery of just who is the Agonia Maxis and who is Zero Base Maxis, and confirm to us once and for all if they truly are the same. Anyways, if any of this has confused you, because I know this is a lot of information, I would urge you to check out my videos on the prior cycles, especially the Agonia one. I'll leave a link to a playlist in the description with all of the Fracture videos, and I would urge you to also check out my video on the very first zombie cycle, because that also dives into the Agonia Fracture and explains stuff with Zero Base Maxis a bit more in depth, and explains the prequel to the cycle, what caused it, and what eventually led to Zero Base Maxis being entangled in it. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not here for the latest and greatest Call of Duty news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.